there, this is Marty from owingsart.com. That's OWINGSART.com. And thanks for stopping by today as we take a look at these Winsor & Newton watercolor markers made in France. Well, this is a new treatment of a very traditional medium. Watercolor is a very traditional medium. It's been around for a long time, but now it's in marker form. And Winsor & Newton has lots of information on this on their website, which you can go check out after this video. Here's a little link to that. But for now, I'm going to show you some of the performance of these great markers. So the markers come in a spectrum or range of 36 colors, and they're intermixable with other traditional watercolors and other mediums. So we'll talk about that today a little bit, and I'll talk about each one of the markers and give them a test, and then we'll try to do a little drawing demo, and you can see for yourself how they perform. Now, Winsor & Newton characterizes these as highly pigmented, and they're water-based, so there's no alcohol or anything like that, but just that they can add this really good performance with the advantage of having being precision. Now, these aren't square like Copic markers, but they have the cap. On the cap, there's a little tip or edge thing, so they're not supposed to roll, but I found that if you set them down, they do kind of roll off. They will roll off a slanted work surface, but so that's one thing to keep in mind. But they feel good in your hand. They've got a dual end. They've got a brush end and then like a finer marker tip nib, and both work well. So here I'm just going to lay down colors from each marker using each end, the brush end and then the fine point. And you can see here, and I'll take you through a little. I'll do this fast forward so you can. You don't have to sit through each line, but you can see the colors right away. They're really vibrant and nice, and I just sat and just did a little testing here with them, and they worked quite nice. Now I'm adding water with a water pen here, and you can see I'll get in a little close here and slow it down a little bit, and you can kind of see what happens when you add a little bit of water to the color here from the markers. It's actually pretty extraordinary. Kind of like, it reminds me of like a Caran d'Ache Museum Aquarelle pencil. Very nice color, very, very vibrant. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to blend some colors together here, randomly actually, but yeah, maybe in the correct range. But we see how this works, and I think it's pretty extraordinary. I mean, it's just cool to be able to have the precision of a marker and the effect of a watercolor. I mean, it's just amazing. And most of these are hues. Most of the colors are hues, but I don't really notice a difference between like the regular full-on color and the hue. I mean, they seem to do pretty well. And for what I'm using them for, sketching and mostly landscapes and things like that, they just work good on my tests here. I'm going to test light fastness and set this thing out in some direct light for a while and see how they hold up. But Winsor & Newton claims they're very durable, very light fast. So there you can see kind of the test in a photograph. So in the second half of the video here, what I'm going to do is some freehand sketching, and then I'm going to add color later on using these Winsor & Newton colored markers. But first of all, I'm going to use this Faber-Castell TK9400 pencil. It's a lead holder with an HB lead in it. I'm doing this freehand without any rulers or whatnot, as you can see, so I don't have a straight edge to guide me, so please excuse that it's not perfect. But this is a building in my hometown of St. Paul, Minnesota. It's an old commerce building. It's called the Commerce Building. It's an old building that was built around the turn of the 20th century, thereabouts, the late 1800s, early 1900s, and it's just downtown, and it's kind of a really neat building, and just has that old look to it. So I like to sketch old buildings. Now here I'm just going to freehand some of the lettering on the side of the building, as you can see, so I'm not worried about being perfect. This is a sketch after all, so just kind of laying in some of the detail there. And you don't have to worry about too much detail when you're sketching, and that's kind of what I like about sketching. So in a second here, I'm going to take out the markers and begin to kind of fill in the area. As you can see here on the left side, that's a yellow ochre. And on the right side, it's the same color. All I'm doing is just using it in a more diluted manner. Then I'm going to use this Payne's gray to get in between this lettering on the side of the building. The front side, or the front facade of the building, is painted white at the top there, so I'll leave that alone. And just darkening in the windows here with that Payne's gray. Then going back with a water pen, and just, you don't have to use a lot of the color in these pens, which is really nice. And here I'm going to go after it with some of the light blue that comes in the set. Go back and add some color to these other buildings that are off to the right hand side here. But as I do this, it just, really vibrant color. You don't have to use much of this to get good color from it, and just real good transparency and great blending and layering. I think I'll leave this drawing here for now, but before I wrap up, I just wanted to say, hey, thanks a lot for coming by and checking out the channel, and subscribing if you haven't already. Really appreciate it. And I just checked this morning, we're over 1,700 channel subscribers, so that's great. I really appreciate that. And I just wanted to mention thank you as well for the thousands of emails, comments, and questions I get on the channel. I really appreciate that. So thanks for stopping by today. Stay tuned to the channel. There's more to come, and I really just wanted to say thanks. Well, I hope you enjoyed this look at the Winsor and Newton watercolor markers today. I'm Marty from owingsart.com. So long, everybody.